Alright everyone, this is a video on how to make changes to your Google site. So one of the first things that you have to make sure um, you is logged into your Gmail account. So I'm going to use the sites, so you're going to click on sites, and I'm going to use one of the teams today. I'll use Team Accomplished as an example. So you click on Team Accomplished. Now let me go through a couple of logistic pieces here. First of all, you have the pencil, which is the edit page. You click on this and you can edit anything on the page. Whatever I change in this area will change over here. If I wanted to get rid of something on this page in terms of these boxes, these are basically inserts or gadgets. I can click on it, hit an X, and it'll actually remove it. Same thing here. I can click here, hit an X, and it will remove it. So that's the edit feature. Also, if you ever click over here in the this is the navigation area. If I click here and I want to change this heading here next to Miss Gatling's name, I can just hit the pencil, change this, and then I'm not going to change it here, but once I change it, it'll change over here in the navigation as well. So these two basically sync together. So I'm going to hit save. Now the most important piece is this here, the new page feature. With the new page feature, you always use this feature when you want to create a new page or a template that doesn't already exist in the Google site. So I'm going to hit new page, and I'm just going to name this a test page so you can see how to do it. You could decide how you want it, what kind of test page. If you want it just to be as a web page, if you want an announcement, which is like a scrolling kind of blog thing. If you want a file cabinet, which is just a page to add files to. If you want a list, and then if you want a start page, it looks like a web page home page. But typically, the web page is your best bet. So you're going to make sure that's there. If you want it at the top level, in other words, if you want it at the top of the page, meaning that it's its own separate page, it doesn't have, it's not under a subheading, you would select put it to top level. If you want to end up having it under something else, you would click this feature, and then you have to choose a location where you would want it. Where do you want it exactly placed? And that's where you would put it here. You would click wherever you want this page to end up being. So I'm going to keep this at the top of the page level because that makes life so much easier. And then I'm going to click the create button. Now what that does is actually creates the page, but it's kind in the it's in the background right now. Even though it shows up here on the page, it doesn't exist anywhere here on the navigation, and you will never kind of see it if you visit the site. So what you're going to always do is make sure you hit the save feature, and I've saved it, even though look, the test page doesn't show up here. So but I want my test page to show up so that people can actually find it over here in the navigation. So this is what you have to do. In order to do that, once you create the page and you've named it and you've saved it, you go to more, and then you go to edit site layout. You click on that, and this over here is a navigation. So in order to edit the navigation, I have to highlight it, and then I'm going to click on it, left click. Now these are all the pages in my navigation. Notice how some of them are left justified, and notice how some of them are indented. Essentially, the indented pages are subheadings underneath this page. Okay, what that means is these are all subheadings under 7th grade accomplished team A. And if you want to move these, you can highlight it. If you move it to the left, it becomes its own page. Okay, if you and so I have to kind of undo that because I just messed up Ms. Gatling's thing. But if I click underneath hers, and that this is her syllabus. Now, if you notice, see how her syllabus is moved over slightly? That's because that's a subheading under Miss Gatling's page. Okay, and to move it, to make it a subheading, you would indent it and move it over to the right. If I wanted to create it and make it its own page, I would move it over with this left arrow, and then it's going to move over, and now it's its own page. See how it's left justified? So I'm going to move it back over so her syllabus can be directly under there. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find that test page. So to add that test page, because if you notice, it is not on this site because I have not inserted it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and click on Add Page. Then I'm going to find the test page. Here's the test page. So I click on it, hit OK. Now the test page is going to show up at the bottom or wherever, somewhere on the page, wherever I had clicked last, because this is the last place I clicked. So here's my test page. Now see again how it's already moved over. It's as a sub page underneath Miss Gatling. If I want it to be its own separate page, I can just move it over like this, and now the test page will be its own separate page. If I want it to be a sub page underneath Miss Gatling's section, I just move it over to the right. And if I just want to move it period, I would move it back over to the left and move it up or down depending on where I want it to be on the page. So just for the sake of this, I'm going to move it all the way to the bottom so there's no confusion. And I'm going to hit OK. Once I hit OK, I'm going to close it, and that saves it. And now you see here is the test page. It has appeared in the navigation. So that is how you add a page and edit a page so that it appears in the navigation. All right, a couple other features on here. I'm gonna go back to, again, edit site layout. We'll go over here, click into the navigation bar. Now let's say I want to add a website. So for example, reading teachers, we have a my HRW homework website, and I just want to add that link to my page. So what I can do is I'm going to click on add URL, and then I'm going to put ELA homework. Oh no, I'm going to put literature book. Literature book online. Oops, excuse my typing. And now I'm going to type the website, my.hrw.com. So the text display is basically how it's going to show up on the website. The URL is what you type in, the exact address to how they would get to the site. But the text display is what's going to show actually in the navigation bar. So I'm going to hit OK. And now here is my literature book online. Then I'm going to hit OK. It's going to save. I'm going to close it. And now my literature book online, if I click on it, it should take me right to the website, myhrw.com. And there it is. All right, so we're going to go back because that's how you add a URL. It's a couple other things that I want to show you. So I'm going to go ahead and save this here. Now, if I ever want to, insert other kind of gadgets or links or pictures on my page, what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to go to the home page first before we do this. I'm going to hit this pencil, and let's say I want to insert a photo. So I go here, insert. Here's your images. If you want to insert a link, if you want to insert a calendar, if you want to insert a chart, all those functions are here. Text box, and then they have other types of gadgets and maps and video, YouTube video, Google video that you can insert here. Also up here is your formatting. If you want to insert a table, if you want to change the layout, if I want to make this a one column, page or 2-column, 3-column, and so on and so forth. All of those options are up here. All right, so I'm gonna hit the save button. Now, one more thing. If you want to change your permissions, I'm going to go here. You go to Manage Site, or actually you go to Sharing and Permissions. You can click on this. And now on this page, if you want to add other people to make them owner, you can invite them, type in their address here, and then make them owners and share. If you ever want to change the themes and colors, you could do that here. Your general permissions are here. The name of your site, if you wanted to change the name of it. If you ever wanted to copy the site, and all those other pieces are on the general tab. It also shows you recent site activity here, and then items that's been deleted if something happens by mistake. But also under, I meant to tell you this, under recent site activity, you can here see the revision history as well as kind of revert back to an older version if something happens, and I can show you that on a one-to-one basis because it can be a little bit tricky, but you can do that under the recent site activity. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to click on a different team because there's a little bit different layout with the intellects, and I believe it was the scholars team. So I'm going to go to, because their Google site looks a little different. So this is what intellects team looks like. And to make changes to this page, you're going to have to go through a different process. So you're going to have to go to more. You're going to have to go to manage site. I'm sorry, that's the wrong tab. You're going to have to go to pages. Now, with this one, their pages is kind of set up a little bit differently. So this is where you would click and move pages. See how it says click and drag to move pages? So if I wanted to move Miss Seeley's page, I would click and then move it to where I want it. And as it highlights, it'll drop and drag to those places. So I'm going to leave it here. And you just hit the plus button if I wanted to move Mr. Jones up here for whatever reason, or move Mr. Johnson. I would just click and highlight. You have to pretty much change and move the pages from this screen, and I'll show you why. If we go back to here, oops, went too far. If we go back 1 second, we go to more, we go to edit site layout, and then we normally would go here. Now if you notice, see how this is checked off, automatically organize my navigation. If I uncheck it, there's really nothing showing up here other than Mr. Perry and Welcome to Home Team Intellect. So we can't really move pages here. So that's why we have to do it the other way. So I'm going to still check this off because it's already organized this way. And I'm going to hit OK. So when you want to make changes to this site, and I'm going to close it, you still do new page. You still name it just like we would do before. You will still do create. It creates the test page. We're going to save it. Now keep in mind it's still in the background here. Now to actually add it, I'm going to go to more. And then I'm going to go to manage site. And then I'm going to go to pages. Now here's that test that I just made, and then I can just click and drag it to wherever I want it to go. And if you needed to put it under a different subheading, you can just hit the plus button. And then if I wanted to go under Mr. Fleming's group, I can just go up here and click it, and then it'll say moving, and now it's under Mr. Fleming's page. If I want to move it back, just click it, and I can move it. I'll just put under announcements right now. Move it there. All right, so that's how you move, click and drag to move pages. And hopefully that will get you started in terms of making changes to your Google site, at least from the perspective of how to make pages, how to add pages, and add URLs. If you have any other further questions regarding a Google site, feel free to email me or come by room 106, and I will be more than happy to assist you.